Hello and welcome to another edition of Know Your History. I'm Mr. Ben, and today we're going to be talking about the governor of New Jersey. Not that governor, the current governor, but the 15th governor, this man, Charles Creighton Stratton. Now, he was the 15th governor of New Jersey in 1845. However, prior to that, he was actually the first governor elected directly by the people. Prior to his election, the state assembly, the legislature, would elect the governor. But in 1844, the state constitution was rewritten and the governorship would be elected by the people. Now, when I say the people, I'm talking about white male property owners who are eligible to vote, and they would vote for the governor for the first time directly. And this man, Charles Creighton Stratton of Woolwich, was elected governor. Now, Stratton was born in 1796 in this house. This Stratton Mansion, or Stratton Hall, as it's known, was built by his father, Dr. James Stratton, who had been a surgeon during the Revolutionary War, and the house was completed in 1794, which happened to be the second term of President George Washington. So this house goes back quite a ways, and this photograph was taken sometime in the late 19th century, and this photograph of this Stratton Mansion and the grounds. And this is how it looks today. Recent photograph of the Stratton Mansion. And this is a close-up shot of the house. As you can see, it hasn't really changed all that much from 1794. Now, Stratton grew up in Woolwich, and he went to college, Rutgers College, as it was then known, and he was a graduate of the class of 1814. Stratton inherited his father's mansion upon Dr. Stratton's death, and Stratton became a farmer. Charles Stratton, that is, became a farmer, and he also dabbled in the law, and he entered politics, and he was elected to the state assembly in 1821. He served a couple of terms in the state general assembly, and then he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1837. He served 2 terms in the House of Representatives as a Whig. He was a member of the Whig Party. And when he was serving there in the House of Representatives, this man was president, General Andrew Jackson. And President Jackson served as president from 1829 to 1837. And he was a Democrat. And the Whigs were in favor of a national bank, a protective tariff, and federal aid for internal improvements to the states, all things which General Jackson disapproved of, President Jackson. In 1844, as I mentioned, Stratton ran for governor, and his opponent was this man, John R Thompson. Now, Thompson had been born in Pennsylvania, but he had established residency in New Jersey, and he was a major stockholder in the Camden and Amboy Railroad, which became the key issue of that gubernatorial election in 1844. The Whigs accused the Camden and Amboy Railroad of concealing profits. Now, the Camden and Amboy Railroad, here is a photograph of the engine, the John Bull engine, and the carriages of the Camden and Amboy Railroad. And this is the line connecting Camden to Amboy, northern New Jersey. Now, New Jersey, as you know, has always been kind of dominated in the South by the politics of Philadelphia, and in North Jersey by the city of New York. And supplies and, it's where the Garden State, and foodstuffs would be transported, and people on the Camden and Amboy line. And as Benjamin Franklin famously said, the New Jersey was like a barrel tapped at both ends, and the Camden and Amboy line was an important link between Philadelphia and the environs of New York. Now, this is a political cartoon of the time. I know it's difficult to see, but it depicts the race between Stratton and Thompson, and it shows Thompson on the Camden and Amboy engine, and the line stops, and you can't quite see it, but the railroad is being built on the backs of the citizens of New Jersey. And Stratton is in a carriage, and they're both racing for the governor's mansion. And of course, Stratton won the election. And one of the lines in this cartoon was political cartoon: 3 cheers for Governor Stratton, the Jersey-bred Jerseyman. So they were taking a swipe at the fact that Thompson was actually born in Pennsylvania, not New Jersey. So Stratton is elected. He is a Whig, and the president at the time, you'll recognize, I hope, James K. Polk, who was president when Stratton was the Whig governor of New Jersey. And during Polk's time in office, he was a firm believer in manifest destiny, that America needed to expand from shore to shore. And one way to do that was to fight a war with Mexico and acquire a lot of territory in the West. The Whigs were opposed to this. Stratton and the Whigs and people of New Jersey actually had little interest in fighting a war with Mexico. And of course, Mexico was defeated and ceded a very large portion of the Southwest and west to the United States in the Mexican-American War. It was fought between 1846 and 1848. Another Whig politician opposed to the war was this man, Abraham Lincoln. Now, Abraham Lincoln was a Whig, but when the Whig Party ended in for various reasons in 1854, he became a Republican, and of course would be elected president in 1861. Now, Stratton served as governor of the state from 1845 to 1848, and he left office and went back to farming on his estate. And he was always a bachelor, a confirmed bachelor, but he met one Sarah Taggart of Philadelphia, and they were married in 1854. Now, marrying late in life, Stratton had no children, and actually he he was ill, and in 1857 they sailed to Europe, he and his wife, ostensibly to recover his health. They traveled and lived in Europe for a year. However, Stratton did not get well, and he returned to Woolwich to his house, and unfortunately he died on March 30th, 1859, aged 63 years. He died and in the same room that he was born in the Stratton Mansion. This is his grave. He's buried in Trinity Episcopal Cemetery, the new cemetery on Church Street, and it's just across the river from the Raccoon Creek from the Stratton house. Now, Stratton's legacy lives on. This school was built in 2004. You may recognize the Governor Charles C. Stratton School in Woolwich. And once again, we are reminded that there's only been one governor from Gloucester County. So any of you kids out there listening, you might want to think about, maybe you might even attend the Stratton School. Maybe you want to think about running for office. Maybe you could be the next governor from Gloucester County, in a few years, of course, but something to think about. I hope you've enjoyed the Know Your History segment, and hope you'll tune in for the next one. And meanwhile, I hope you'll stay safe, and we'll look for you next time on Know Your History. Bye for now.